How Drew Barrymore turned a troubled past into business gold. What do you call someone who's drinking by age 9, in rehab by 13, legally emancipated at 14, and still went on to build a media empire worth millions? You call her Drew Barrymore. Most Hollywood child stars burn out or fade away entirely, but Drew did something far rarer. She turned her darkest moments into her brightest business strategies. From red carpets to rehab and now retail, she didn't just survive the chaos, she monetized the comeback. And her journey isn't just inspiring, it's a case study in emotional branding, reinvention, and resilience. In today's video, we're diving deep into how Drew Barrymore transformed personal pain into entrepreneurial gold, and how each part of her past became fuel for her empire today. Flower Beauty. When Drew Barrymore launched Flower Beauty in 2013, many assumed it was just another celebrity makeup line riding the wave. But behind the pretty packaging was a brilliant strategy: bring luxury quality cosmetics to the drugstore aisle. At a time when high-end brands dominated the beauty narrative, Drew saw a massive gap in the market. Women who wanted affordable glam without compromising quality. But the challenge was huge. Beauty is a brutal industry, and celebrity lines often get dismissed as vanity projects. Instead of slapping her name on a label, Drew embedded herself in product development, ensuring formulas, pigments, and packaging met real consumer needs. The Drew Barrymore Show, launching a daytime talk show in the post-Oprah era? That's brave. Launching it during a pandemic? That's practically heroic. The Drew Barrymore Show debuted in 2020, and the odds were stacked high. Networks were slashing budgets, audiences were shifting to digital, and daytime slots were more competitive than ever. Yet Drew leaned in with warmth, weirdness, and radical optimism. She didn't pretend to be perfect, she embraced being perfectly undone. Her interviews are emotional, often unscripted, and deeply human. But that vulnerability is her superpower. She transformed the talk show from a celebrity echo chamber into something that feels like brunch with a really empathetic friend. Ratings slowly grew, and advertisers took notice. Barrymore Wines. Let's face it, celebrities launching wine labels isn't exactly rare, but Drew's approach to Barrymore Wines was more than just a status move. It was about storytelling. She didn't just choose a wine to slap her name on. She partnered with vintners, learned about the production, and created selections that reflected her love of family, food, and togetherness. But even with all the care in curation, the wine industry is a hard pour. Saturation is sky high, and standing out requires more than taste. It needs narrative. Drew's edge? She marketed Barrymore Wines like a dinner invitation. The brand's tone was inclusive, unfussy, and all about real-life moments. Whether it's pizza nights or messy birthdays, Barrymore Wines wasn't just about drinking. It was about gathering. Flower Home decor might seem like an odd lane for an actress-turned-entrepreneur, but Drew's move into furniture and design with Flower Home was anything but random. Launched through Walmart in 2019, the line reflects her signature style: colorful, quirky, nostalgic, and warm. But entering the home market is no small feat. Consumers are picky, trends move fast, and price points can make or break you. Yet Flower Home did something smart. It leaned into maximalism at a time when minimalism had started to feel cold and impersonal. The line was unapologetically bold, with patterns, textures, and colors that felt like a hug from your eccentric aunt. And again, Drew wasn't just a figurehead, she was deeply involved in design, mood boards, and user experience. By anchoring the collection in accessibility, price-wise, and personality-wise, she gave her fans a way to literally live in her world. And for many, that felt more personal than any movie ever could. Dear Drew clothing line. Back in 2017, Drew dipped into fashion with Dear Drew, a lifestyle brand sold through Amazon. While the brand never became a massive breakout, it offered key lessons in digital retail and identity-driven marketing. The line was marketed as an open love letter to women, encouraging self-expression, self-worth, and self-love. But the Amazon LS model limited its exposure, and some critics felt the aesthetic was a bit scattered. Still, Dear Drew wasn't a failure. It was a foundation. It allowed Drew to test the waters of fashion e-commerce, understand supply chains, and more importantly, understand what her audience didn't want. Rather than doubling down on a misfire, she pivoted. She took what worked, the themes of empowerment and whimsy, and funneled them into her more successful ventures like Flower Home and her book line. Every stumble was a study, and Dear Drew was one of her most revealing experiments. Rehabilitation and public scrutiny. Before Drew was a brand, she was a headline. Her early life was marred by addiction, family turmoil, and relentless paparazzi attention. Most would have faded or fractured under that spotlight, but Drew did something radical. She didn't hide it. She wrote books about it, joked about it, and built her brand with it. Her transparency made her not just likable, but relatable in a way few celebrities ever achieve. Her memoir, Little Girl Lost, wasn't just a publishing success. It was the beginning of her owning her narrative. That ownership carried through into every business decision. Realness over polish, empathy over ego. Drew used her past not as something to bury, but as something to build on. And in an age where audiences crave authenticity more than anything else, that vulnerability became her brand. Book publishing and lifestyle branding. From children's books to cookbooks, Drew's literary ventures are deeply tied to her identity. But these aren't just vanity projects. Her books, including Wildflowers, serve as brand extensions, vehicles for her core messaging around healing, humor, and self-love. She writes like she talks, warm, self-effacing, and completely unfiltered. That tone has resonated with a broad audience, helping her transition from Hollywood actress to multi-online lifestyle entrepreneur. Publishing gave her another revenue stream, sure, but more than that, it offered yet another way to connect. Each page feels like a continuation of the Drew you see on TV, in products, in interviews, and that consistency builds trust. Whether she's talking about motherhood or failed relationships, she brings the same approachable honesty that has become her entrepreneurial edge. Social media strategy. While some celebs use social media as a highlight reel, Drew uses it like a scrapbook, and it works. Her Instagram isn't curated within an inch of its life. It's messy, joyful, sometimes awkward, but always human. And that authenticity builds engagement. She doesn't chase trends. She sets her own tone. She posts crying selfies, dance fails, and chaotic kitchen attempts. The result? A following that feels emotionally connected, not just entertained. And from a business standpoint, that kind of audience trust is marketing gold. Every product she promotes or launches has a built-in audience that already believes in her. That's not just influence. That's influence with credibility. And it's a massive reason her ventures succeed when others fizzle out. Mental health advocacy as brand value. Instead of sweeping her past under the rug, Drew has turned mental health into one of her most powerful brand pillars. She talks openly about therapy, self-help, parenting stress, and burnout, topics many celebs avoid or gloss over. And in doing so, she aligns her brand with a growing consumer demand, emotional honesty. Whether it's through interviews, Instagram posts, or segments on her talk show, Drew turns vulnerability into value. Her entire business model thrives on the idea that imperfection is not only okay, it's beautiful. And that messaging has made her brand unusually sticky. In an age where trust drives purchasing behavior, Drew's openness gives her an edge many polished brands can't compete with. If you found this story as powerful as it is practical, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into the lives and brands of the world's most unexpected entrepreneurs, and leave a comment below. What's your favorite Drew Barrymore moment, and how has it inspired you to grow, heal, or hustle harder?